Negro, Latino, and Native American. You're biblical Israelite, so you're not going to learn anything being in those churches. This is Jeremiah 23:1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pastures, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, against the pastors that lead my people.
Well, you're all Christians, but this is different domination. This is the Baptists. They specialize in a lot of fucking singing and dancing. And you got the other Jehovah's Witnesses, they specialize in magazines and shit.
So like, I'll bring something out, bro. Because every day I go to school, I take a train to school, and I be like 2 stops away from my house. Every time I walk past that stop, there's some Jehovah's Witnesses, right? And I knew some from my neighborhood, whatnot. And today I always shake their hand like every day. I say, "What's up? Say what's up." Today. One of them asked me, who do you study with? I was like, Hebrew Israelite. His face turned to fucking disgust. He was like, you started just, today, one of them asked me, who do you study with? I was like, Hebrew Israelite. His face turned to fucking disgust. He was like, you started just, he didn't say nothing, but he was scoffing. I was like, that nigga a fucking demon, bro. Because as soon as I say Hebrew Israelite, then you offended, bro? It's like, that nigga a fucking demon, bro? Because as soon as I say Hebrew Israelite, then you offended, bro? The scriptures say, woe to them that are offended in me. So, like, that nigga a fucking demon, bro? Because as soon as I say Hebrew Israelite, then you offended, bro? The scriptures say, woe to them that are offended in me. So, come on.
All praises and glory goes to our mighty power Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the elect men continually feeding the sheep of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai in sincerity and truth, with this great gospel coming out of our Bible strictly for the children of Israel, for the Israelites, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right, this is your gospel. This is your good news. Right, this is what's going to lead you to what you're awakening out of that dead state, because you're in a dead state right now. Right, the valley of the dried bones here in Babylon the Great. Jake lost. Jake is done. Jake is through unless he get this truth. Right, and you better get this truth before this truth is no longer available. Right, no longer available. The Bible talks about what? I'm reading the book of Amos 8 verse 11, and it reads, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread or thirst for water, but of what? Of hearing the word of the Lord." Right? So what does that mean? The Lord's going to remove his prophets. Right? Guess what? The videos you're watching on the internet of the prophecies of the prophets preaching, the elders, the apostles, the bishops, vanish, gone. You're not going to see them no more. And guess what? You're not going to see us on the highways and the byways no more. Right? That's why it says they're going to go to and fro looking for this word. I'm reading again. "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the word of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east." They're going to go all over looking. Where are those guys? Where's the prophets? Where's the men with the signs? The men with those garments? They're gone. Right? "And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall what? Not find it." There's going to be a day this gospel is not going to be available. So you better get as much of it as you can. You better get as much of it as you can, because pretty soon, hey, take your ass to the sellers and buy. Right? Them fake ass prophets, them false preachers, them false pastors who are set up to deceive. Right? Who are set up to deceive, because that's the time we're in. We're in the time of deception. Right? Because the devil knows his time is short. Right? The devil knows his time is short. So what he's making sure that he dot his T's and dot his I's and cross his T's, like they say, right? He's sending his false preachers, his false prophets, right? Cats like Vocab Malone, right? These 7-day disadvantage, right? Then you got these fake motherfuckers on the streets. They ain't talking about no Bible. Yeah, they got a manuscript that was printed up for them to push. But once you bring up the Bible, they don't want nothing to do with the Bible, right? It's like the word of the Lord is offensive to these people, right? Offensive to the world. Amos 5:10, it says, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. If you're speaking the truth, you're going to be hated, right? You're going to be hated. First off, you got the name of the Lord and his son, right? You're coming in truth. You're coming in righteousness, right? They hate him that rebuketh in the gate. And guess what? You're rebuking, right? You're telling the world what's wrong with this place. Oh, yeah. They don't want to hear you telling them what they're doing wrong. They want to hear smooth things. They want to hear deceit. They want to hear deception. They want to hear fucking lies. Right? That's what makes them comfortable, right? Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. This society is not going to collapse. America's not going to be destroyed. Right? America's going to be great again. That's what they want to hear. But that's not the gospel in the scriptures. The scriptures talk about this land being burnt, this land being desolate. Right before that happens, the Lord's going to bring a famine in this land. The Lord's going to bring a collapse of the currency. The Lord's going to bring the RFID chip in this land before that nuclear missile hits this land. What land we talking about? Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great. It says they hate him that rebuketh at the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. I'm reading the book of Luke 6, verse 22. It says, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Right? Yeah, you're supposed to be hated because you believe in the Lord and his son, the true power, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shai. Right? You done separated yourselves from what? Jesus Christ. What it says, you done came out of that world and come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins. Which one of her sins? Following after this false idol, this false deity that can't help you, that can't preserve you from the said perils. Right? That's going to lead to your demise and your fucking destruction. Right? It says, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall, he believe in it. He's a Hebrew Israelite. That's a hate group. That's a cult. Something's not right. They're not right. Something's not right. All they do is curse. Yeah, because we rebuking. You get mad because we against a wicked society. You getting mad because we no longer want to be in captivity. You getting mad because we want the Lord to send his son back to save us. You getting mad because we want to return back to our true heritage. Man, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. It says, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Verse 23, it says, rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy. Leap for joy, man. Who cares, man? The Jehovah's sickness is mad because you don't believe in his bullshit. Right? You don't believe in his philosophy, his doctrines, his false ideology. Right? And guess what? The world don't believe in it either. That's why there ain't too many people as Jehovah's Witnesses. There ain't too many people as a 7-day disadvantage. Right? People are fleeing from the churches of the world, these building institutions, these harlot houses. The house of robbery. That's what I call it, the house of robbery and thievery, because you ain't getting nothing, but you getting money taken out your pockets. Right? Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven, for in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. Right? And guess what? The prophets are back, and they're being hated. They're being despised. For what? Truth. It says, have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? And that's what we became in this society. The enemy of the enemy of the state. Right? The enemy to our families and friends and the people that we used to be around. The only people who gonna fuck with us is the people of the Lord. The people of the Lord, man. It says, rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. Yeah, we storing our riches in heaven, not here in this society that's about to be destroyed. For in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets, man. Right? They hated the prophets. They slaughtered the prophets. They killed the prophets. But guess what? The Lord said, persecution shall not arise a second time. Paraphrasing. Right now, we looking for what? Salvation and deliverance. I'm reading the book of Luke 12 and 42. And it reads, and the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward, who his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season, right? That's why you're storing your blessings in heaven, right? Because there's a reward for your faithfulness. There's a reward for your endurance. There's a reward for being a good servant of the Lord, right? What the Lord going to do, it says, and the Lord said, who then is a faithful, who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, right? To give them their portion of meat in due season, right? Only way you're going to receive it is if you endure until the end. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing what? The work of the Lord, right? You still going to be faithful in the times, right? Say you're facing death, you're still faithful unto death, right? No matter what you're facing, you're still a faithful servant of the Lord. You're still calling on the Lord. You're still doing the will of the Lord. You ain't gonna let nothing lead you astray from what this path that the Lord has set you on, right? It says, blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he have. He'll make him a ruler over all that he have. There's a reward for what we're doing, man. That's why you can't get weary in good works, man. Fighting for the Lord. First off, motherfucker, it's your job to fight for the Lord. You are a Hebrew Israelite. You are Yasharallah, the Prince of Power. Right? You are a son of the Most High, man. It's your fucking job to fight for the Lord, man. If you ain't fighting for the Lord, you fucking deserve to die. Shalom.